Today I'm going to share with you some of the funniest lines of dialogue from Spyro 3 The Year of the Dragon. Insomniac Games did an amazing job at making the original Spyro PS1 trilogy appeal to both kids and adults, and managed to include some genuinely funny dialogue without adding any adult humour to maintain its PEGI 3 rating. One disclaimer though, this list is dialogue from the main game only, no cutscene dialogue, so unfortunately I won't be including this gem.
Why, you brazenly avaricious, duplicitous, larcenous ursine!
Now, hold on!
Well, well, look at you. Showing up here to raid the tomb after I've done all the work. I spend all day pressing switches and shoving boxes around, and you just waltz in here expecting to claim the treasure. Well, might as well have it. Only turned out to be a lousy egg anyway.
Not only is the character of Tara a full-on homage to Lara Croft, she even makes a mockery of the core gameplay of the original Tomb Raider series. Pressing switches and pushing boxes around is literally all I can remember doing in the first games.
You shouldn't anger a magician, Spyro. I just might decide to turn you into a blue hedgehog or something.
Do I really need to explain this one? For some reason, we as gamers love it when references to other games show up, either as Easter eggs, dialogue, or just blatantly like Moneybags does here. It's especially heartwarming when it's not a negative reference to a character or a series from a rival company.
Do you mind? I'm trying to avoid being trampled by a water buffalo.
I really like the attention to detail that Spyro 3 added, such as characters having unique dialogue if you were to speak with them outside of the expected times, such as when they're interacting with the world or its creatures. She has a point though. Spyro isn't doing much to help this situation in reducing the risk she gets trampled by a water buffalo.
Just before you kicked the Sorceress's big, fat, ugly butt, she built a factory to make robotic bugs to fight sparks. But I don't think they're any match for him.
Oh dear Zoe, she has a point though. The Sorceress is the most evil Spyro villain thus far. Nasty Nork didn't kill any dragons, he just froze them. Ripto didn't hurt anybody, he just enslaved them. The Sorceress outright admits to planning to murder not just the dragons, but also the baby hatchlings. So insulting her appearance is sort of justified. Also, PEGI 3 rating maintained eloquently.
There's definitely something shiny at the bottom of this hole. I was about to jump down there, but I think I hear running water, and I hate to get wet. It's a cat thing.
Sometimes I forget that Hunter is a cheater and thus is a member of the feline family. I love cats, so hearing cat-related jokes, puns and humour based around their species' quirks is great. Hunter even follows through on this confession by never showing up in any underwater levels without first putting on a wetsuit to keep his fur dry.
Oh, hi Spyro. Isn't Prince Azrael just the dreamiest? The other fairies and wizards won't let us get married, so we're going to elope. By the way, Azrael says you can have this egg if you don't tell anyone where we went.
All the way through Charmed Ridge, we're made to believe that the Princess Amy and Prince Azrael scenario is a kidnapping or a forced marriage. As it turns out, they're actually in love and they're eloping. What makes this scene even funnier is that Prince Azrael is a biker punk. Check out his skull earring and his motorbike.
Very well then. The password to open the tomb is... Are you ready? Gullible!
Another fine example of Moneybags being an absolute savage. I don't even think this door had a password. I think he was just acting as a greedy gatekeeper, then rubbing your nose in it when you had no option but to cough up to get past him.
Very well, Spyro, it's up to you. Maybe if we both just hold hands and think happy thoughts, the thieves will decide to return the eggs themselves.
Moneybags is such a sarcastic character in the third iteration of Spyro. In the second title, and his debut, he was more or less just a greedy Scrooge-like character who was relatively nonplussed if Spyro refused to pay his fees. As if to say, well, it's no skin off my nose if you can't finish the game. In Spyro 3, however, he started taking things a bit more personally and sometimes really came out with some zingers.
okay. I don't mind getting beaten to a pulp over and over by a bunch of vicious hockey players. I'm sure you have more important things to do anyway.
Growing up, I used to go and watch a lot of live ice hockey games, so I knew that they often got violent. Hearing Nancy say this so nonchalantly in an attempt to make Spyro feel guilty was just hilarious, though as this glorified escort quest was so frustrating, watching her get whacked across the rink with a hockey stick was very funny.
Request permission to cheer, sir. Hip hip hooray!
The Hummingbirds do their best to maintain a professional attitude to their CO and remain upright and represent the military as best as they can, but this soldier just couldn't resist breaking the facade to express her sheer joy.
What? Marco sent you here? I've got a restraining order against him.
In the vast majority of games, we as the protagonist are led to believe that everything we do is for the greater good, that you couldn't possibly be trying to reunite an estranged couple, one side of which wants nothing to do with the quest giver, and has even gone as far as to take out a restraining order against him.
Yes! You schooled them like a bunch of frost-bitten, flat-footed, molasses-eating, lead-pants-wearing, cross-eyed glacier trolls riding slabs of plywood with sandpaper on the bottom! And we won some shiny stuff, too.
Hunter really knows how to embellish and elaborate, doesn't he? This line is a vast improvement on his previous dizzy one-toed sand knocks comment from a previous level. I really liked this quote and did my best to memorise it as a kid, writing it down. I just thought it was genius.
What? You don't want to pay? What are you saving your money for? Another sequel?
A fine example of a developer poking fun at themselves here, and also a weird prediction for the future. At this point, Spyro was onto his third main series game and was in development for a future installment, spin-offs and even crossovers with other franchises. A nice bit of foreshadowing and humour mixed together here, Insomniac.
This swamp smells so sweet. The springtime trees are fragrant. I'm off to kick butt.
The fact that all of the characters in Spooky Swamp speak in haiku is funny to begin with, but when Sheila comes out with this, maintaining her Australian accent, I admit I lolled the first time I heard it. I just wasn't expecting it.
Wow! That's the first time Bluto has ever lost! You got a lot of talent for someone so purple. I hope this egg was worth all the trouble.
Not only is this quote borderline racist to purple-skinned beings, it's also massively hypocritical as it's being said by a purple seal. Also, how does the colour of one's skin affect one's ability to perform tasks? Idiot purple seal.
I bet that you could outrace the lot of them. If you win, we get a huge pile of treasure. If you lose, I have to slick down the whole course with my tongue. I think my tongue is frozen. You better not lose again. Yeah, let's wait for my tongue to thaw first.
Hunter is my most hated character from the Spyro universe. He's cocky, overconfident, and can sometimes be downright incompetent and obtuse for the sake of it. So seeing him get his comeuppance thanks to you failing is simply heartwarming. It's also a really unique bet that the Yetis came up with. Props to their creativity.
Drat. Double drat. Drat, 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 drat. Oh, I never knew dragons were so fast. That's it, I give up. I'm retiring to Spooky Swamp to become a haiku poet.
One of the absolute best moments in Spyro 3 was when you got revenge on Moneybags and chased him around Midnight Mountain, flaming and charging him to get all of your extorted gems back. Spyro 2 did something similar, but just showed it through a non-interactive cutscene. Spyro 3 did it way better. To further cement his feeling of utter defeat, he resigns to retire to his most disliked level and write haiku, which he also admitted to hating.
It would be easy to get up to that treasure if you had something to stand on. Purr. I don't know why, but I feel really cold.
Another great example of programming in lines of dialogue that actually react real time to the things that Spyro does and the changes that occur in game. If you follow the clues to reach these gem barrels by freezing this NPC and using him as a step stool, once he thaws, he expresses himself thusly.
Stop talking to me. I hate speaking in haiku. Just go find some gems.
The unique quirk of Spooky Swamp is that everybody there speaks in haiku, including the non-native NPCs like Sheila and Moneybags. Unlike Sheila, however, Moneybags has a clear dislike of haiku, but ironically expresses this using the very medium he claims to hate.
What do you say? Do you want to take on Bluto? I don't blame you. I already owe 7 years of kitchen duty, and I'm not about to risk getting another month.
Yep, clearly the seals found Bluto the Rhinoc as difficult as I did when I was a kid. I suffered numerous deaths at the hand of this cheating scumbag with his souped-up, overpowered nuclear shark submarine, yet when I did finally manage to destroy it using my naff little speedboat, oh, it felt so good.